What if I told you the version of you sitting in the car right now, or folding the laundry, or walking the dog, isn't actually the real you? What if the person you present to the world every single day is just a beautifully crafted, highly strategic avatar designed to keep everyone else comfortable? Think about it. When was the last time you answered the question, "How are you?" with absolute, unfiltered truth? We live in a culture that rewards the hustle, praises the fine, and double taps the polish. But lately, I've been looking into the mirror and asking myself a terrifying question. Am I actually free? Or am I really, really good at faking it? Welcome back to the show. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the grand performance we all put on. We're going to talk about the exhausting line between keeping the peace and losing your soul, and how to finally stop auditioning for your own life. Let's get started. Welcome to the Catalyst Podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and you can catch us on all your favorite platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can also listen to our episodes on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and our home at Podbean. Folks, if you want to reach out to us, email us at catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. A guest or contributor, come and join the community today and be part of something truly transformative. And welcome to episode 154. Are you free or faking? Okay, so let me paint a picture for you, okay? A few weeks ago, I was at this networking dinner. You know, the standard setup: dim lighting, tiny appetizers that require 3 bites, but you eat them in one. A room full of people talking at each other. I was talking to this person, potential client, and he was holding court, giving an incredibly long, aggressively boring monologue about his latest corporate strategy. And there I was. My head was nodding like one of those bobbleheads on a dashboard. Right, the smile pasted so tight on my cheeks, you know, the cheeks literally ached. Internally, I was screaming. I was calculating how long I'd have to wait before I could pretend my phone was vibrating and escape to the bathroom. But externally, I said, "Wow, that's so fascinating. Tell me more. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Why do we betray our own immediate reality to just make a stranger feel like they're the center of the universe?" Think about it. And I know if you've done it, we've all done it, right? It's what I like to call the polite hijack, right? We hijack our own time, our own energy, our own truth because we're terrified of the alternative. We're terrified that if we drop the act, people will see the messy, tired, bored, or boundary-driven human underneath and decide we're too much or not enough, air quotations, right? Let's look at another one. Maybe this one will hit a little closer to home, right? Okay, so you're exhausted, right? It's Friday night. Your week's been an absolute shithole. And your couch is singing a siren song. But your friends are going out. You get the text, "You coming tonight?" Instead of saying, "Hey, I love you guys, but my battery's on 2% and I need to stare at a wall in silence." What do? You text back, "On my way." Right? You drag your exhausted ass out the door. You spend money that you shouldn't, drink a cocktail you really don't want, and spend 3 hours faking enthusiasm. You think you're being a good friend, but let's be honest, you're not actually there. Your body's in the room, but your spirit's in your sweatpants. You aren't giving them your presence, you're giving them a ghost. We fake our joy. We fake our capacity. We fake our agreement. And the wildest part, we've been doing it for so long, we've started faking it to ourselves. I feel like there's a lot of uncomfortable people listening right now. And if you're feeling a little exposed, take a breath. Unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, because you're not the only one. You're not alone in this. You are not alone. Yeah, you know, Michael Jackson, rest in peace. In fact, according to a recent global emotional wellness study, a staggering 74% of adults admit they regularly mask their true feelings in social and professional settings to avoid conflict or judgment. Nearly 3/4 of us are walking around wearing emotional masks. That's not a community. It's a masquerade ball where everyone's too afraid to take off the velvet. And look, I get it. Right? Faking it is a survival mechanism. It keeps things smooth, right? If we all went around saying exactly what we thought every second of the day, society would probably collapse into a chaotic, honest, by Tuesday afternoon, right? It'd go completely berserk. It'd be the opposite of what happened when the Knicks won the world championship. Shout out to my Knicks. So proud of them. Right? It would be absolute chaos, right? But there's a massive difference between tact and erasure. A massive difference. Let's look at the wisdom of how we actually construct these masks. Think of your identity like a house, okay? Think of your identity like a house. You have the porch, right? And the porch, this is where your avatar lives. It's clean, it's decorated, it's got a nice welcome mat, and this is what you show your neighbors, right? The living room is where you let people you actually trust come in and hang out. And then you got the basement. This is where the real stuff is, right? The old boxes, the dust, the weird family heirlooms, the raw truth of who you are, right? The problem is, many of us have locked ourselves out of our own house. We're living permanently on the front porch, trying to convince the passersby that everything inside is perfect while we're freezing to death out in the cold. When you fake it, when you agree to things you hate, smile at things that hurt, nod at things you disagree with, you are burning your own house down just to keep others warm. This isn't kindness. That's codependency wrapped in a nice guy or nice girl bow. So, how do we move from the performance to the presence? How do we step off the stage and actually become free? It starts with the understanding that freedom isn't the absence of discomfort. It's the presence of truth. And when we look at people who are genuinely free, and we all know one or two of them, they aren't loud or aggressive or contrarian just for the sake of it. They just have this stillness about them. They don't perform. If they're tired, they'll say they're tired. If they disagree, they say, I see it differently. And if they love you, you feel it because their yes actually means something. You see, a fake yes is a lie. And every time you tell a fake yes to someone, you're telling a brutal no to yourself. When you say yes to that extra project you don't have time for, you say no to your sanity. When you say yes to that toxic family dynamic at dinner, you say no to your peace of mind. When you say yes to the lifestyle you can't afford to impress people you don't like, you say no to your future. To quote my favorite Brené Brown, choosing authenticity means cultivating the courage to be imperfect, to set boundaries, and to allow yourself to be vulnerable. It means letting your yes be a yes and your no be a no. All right? Freedom is a lot like driving a vintage truck, right? It's got some dings. The transmission grinds a bit. And it got the shiny new plastic, new car smell. But man, it's real. It's got soul. It gets you where you need to go because it's built on solid iron and not cheap fiberglass. Stop trying to look like a showroom sports car when your soul wants to be a rugged, honest, good-to-go truck. Now, I don't want to leave you with a nice sentiment today. I want to give you a tool. So, a practical, real-world, right-now instrument that you can use the next time you feel the avatar trying to take over the driver's seat. I call this exercise the 3-second pause. Okay? So, starting today, whenever someone asks you for something, whether it's an invitation to a party, a favor at work, or even just, how are you doing? I want you to implement a strict 3-second delay before you speak. All right? Now, during those 3 seconds, I want you to run a quick internal diagnostic scan. Okay? Ask yourself these 2 questions. Are you ready? Okay? Number 1, what is my immediate visceral gut reaction? What is my immediate visceral gut reaction? Am I feeling a contradiction or an expansion? Is my stomach tight or is my chest open? Number one. Number two, I'm about to speak to protect their feelings, or am I about to speak to honor my truth? Am I about to speak to protect their feelings, or am I about to speak to honor my truth? If the answer is that you're about to perform, I want you to try soft truth. Okay? You don't have to drop a truth bomb that blows up the room. You just have to be honest. Instead of answering on my way from my friends who's like, you coming out? Try, I'd love to see you guys, but I'm completely wiped out tonight. I'm going to try and catch you guys next time. Okay? Instead of, wow, that's so fascinating. Try, that's an interesting take. Hey, excuse me for a moment. I need to grab a glass of water. Instead of, I'm fine, try, honestly, it's been a heavy week, but I'm hanging in there. Watch what happens when you do this. Guess what's going to not happen? The sky's not going to fall. The ground's not going to swallow you whole. In fact, you'll find it's that the right people will actually lean in. They'll lean in because deep down, everyone is exhausted from faking it too. When you show up as a real human being, you give everyone else in the room permission to take their masks off too. My friends, life is too short, too messy, and way too beautiful to spend acting in a play you didn't write for an audience that isn't paying attention anyway. So step off the stage, take a deep breath, and let the avatar go. Be heavy when you're heavy, be joyful when you're joyful, and above all things, be there, be free. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening today. If this episode hit home for you, do me a favor. Don't just keep it to yourself. Send it to one of your friends you know who's running on fumes and trying to smile through it. Let's start a little revolution here, okay? And as always, keep showing up because the world really needs you. Like and subscribe to our podcast for even more motivational content. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, as well as Threads and TikTok for even more inspiration. And don't forget about our book, The Ways of Compromise. It's out now in digital and paperback. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 154. We look forward to seeing you again for next episode, which is 155. Go be great.